The Ultimate Stress Management Guide. Build resilience, find balance, live better. Written and published by Rising Audiobook. Introduction. Stress has become one of the most accepted parts of modern life. People wear it like a badge of honor, believing that constant pressure is the price of success. Yet behind busy schedules, endless notifications, and overwhelming responsibilities lies a hidden truth. Unmanaged stress slowly steals your energy, your focus, your health, and your happiness. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, one exhausting day at a time, until feeling overwhelmed becomes your new normal. The good news is that stress doesn't have to control your life. While you may not be able to eliminate every challenge, you can change the way your mind and body respond to them. The ability to remain calm under pressure, recover from setbacks, and protect your inner peace is not a rare gift. It's a skill that anyone can develop with the right knowledge and consistent practice. In this audiobook, you'll discover the science behind stress, uncover the hidden triggers that keep you trapped in unhealthy patterns, and learn practical techniques to regain control of your thoughts, emotions, and daily habits. Each chapter builds on the last, guiding you step by step toward greater resilience, healthier boundaries, and a more balanced way of living. This is more than a guide to reducing stress. It's a blueprint for creating a stronger mind, a calmer heart, and a life where challenges no longer define you. Your journey toward lasting resilience, balance, and peace begins now. Chapter 1. Understanding stress. Friend or enemy? Stress is one of the few experiences every human being shares. It doesn't matter where you live, how much money you earn, or what goals you pursue, stress eventually finds its way into your life. For some, it arrives in the form of looming deadlines or financial pressure. For others, it comes through relationship challenges, health concerns, or unexpected life changes. Because stress is so common, many people assume it is simply an unavoidable enemy that must be endured. But the truth is far more interesting. Stress is not inherently bad. In fact, without stress, our ancestors might never have survived. Imagine an early human suddenly encountering a dangerous predator. Within seconds, the brain sent powerful signals throughout the body. The heart began beating faster, breathing became deeper, muscles tightened, and energy rushed to the arms and legs. These rapid changes prepared the person to fight or flee. This remarkable survival mechanism became known as the fight-or-flight response, and it remains part of every human brain today. The challenge is that modern life rarely presents us with predators. Instead, our brains often react to overflowing inboxes, unpaid bills, difficult conversations, traffic jams, social media comparisons, or workplace pressure as though they were life-threatening emergencies. The body cannot always distinguish between a charging lion and an overwhelming deadline. As a result, the same survival system that once protected us can become activated repeatedly throughout the day. Short-term stress, often called acute stress, can actually be beneficial. It sharpens your focus before an important presentation, increases your alertness during an exam, or gives you extra energy to solve an urgent problem. Athletes often perform their best because a moderate level of stress prepares both the body and the mind for action. In these situations, stress becomes an ally rather than an obstacle. Problems begin when stress refuses to leave. Chronic stress develops when the body remains in a constant state of high alert for weeks, months, or even years. Instead of returning to a calm and balanced state after a challenge passes, the mind continues expecting the next problem. Over time, this continuous tension drains your physical energy, clouds your thinking, weakens your immune system, disrupts your sleep, and affects nearly every area of your life. Many people become so accustomed to chronic stress that they no longer recognize it. Feeling tired every morning, struggling to concentrate, becoming impatient over small inconveniences. Experiencing frequent headaches or constantly worrying about the future may seem normal, but these are often signs that your mind and body have been carrying a burden for far too long. Understanding how stress works gives you an important advantage. Stress begins not with events themselves, but with how your brain interprets those events. Two people can experience exactly the same situation, yet respond in completely different ways. One employee may see a new project as an exciting opportunity to grow, while another views it as proof that failure is inevitable. The external situation is identical, but the internal interpretation creates entirely different emotional experiences. This does not mean stress is imaginary or that difficult situations are easy. Instead, it reminds us that our thoughts influence how intensely we experience pressure. When the brain believes we have the resources to handle a challenge, stress becomes motivating. When the brain believes we are helpless or overwhelmed, stress quickly becomes exhausting. Our bodies also provide valuable clues when stress is building. You may notice tight shoulders, clenched jaws, shallow breathing, stomach discomfort, racing thoughts, or difficulty falling asleep. These signals are not signs of weakness. They are messages from your body asking for attention. Learning to notice these early warning signs allows you to respond before stress grows into burnout. An important misconception is that eliminating all stress should be the ultimate goal. A life completely free of stress would also be a life without meaningful challenges, personal growth, or exciting opportunities. Every worthwhile achievement requires stepping beyond your comfort zone. Starting a business, raising a family, learning a new skill, or pursuing an ambitious dream all involve moments of uncertainty and pressure. The objective is not to avoid stress altogether, but to develop the ability to manage it wisely. Think of stress as fire. A small, controlled fire provides warmth, light, and the ability to cook food. Left unattended, however, that same fire can spread and destroy everything in its path. Stress works in much the same way. Managed properly, it fuels motivation, resilience, and growth. Left unchecked, it gradually consumes your peace, health, and happiness. Throughout this audiobook, you'll discover practical strategies to recognize unhealthy stress patterns, calm your nervous system, strengthen your mindset, and build habits that support long-term well-being. But every lasting transformation begins with understanding. When you stop seeing stress as an unstoppable enemy and begin viewing it as a signal that requires awareness and balance, you take the first and perhaps most important step toward lasting resilience. Stress will always be part of life. The difference is that it no longer has to be in control. From this moment forward, your goal is not to fear stress, but to understand it, manage it, and ultimately use it as a force that strengthens rather than weakens you. Chapter 2. Finding your stress triggers. Stress rarely appears without a reason. It may feel as though it arrives out of nowhere, but beneath every stressful moment lies a trigger, a person, situation, habit, thought, or environment that activates your mind's alarm system. The challenge is that many of these triggers become so familiar that we stop noticing them. Instead of recognizing the source, we simply accept stress as a permanent part of life. Imagine driving a car while ignoring the dashboard warning lights. Eventually, a small problem becomes a major breakdown. Stress works the same way. Every stressful reaction is your mind and body sending a signal that something deserves your attention. The sooner you identify the trigger, the easier it becomes to manage your response before it grows into anxiety, frustration, or burnout. Stress triggers generally fall into two categories: external and internal. External triggers are easier to recognize. They include demanding jobs, financial responsibilities, family conflicts, health concerns, traffic, deadlines, noisy environments, and unexpected life events. These are the situations happening around you. Internal triggers, however, are often far more powerful. These include negative self-talk, perfectionism, fear of failure, excessive worrying, unrealistic expectations, self-doubt, and constantly comparing yourself to others. Two people may experience the exact same situation, yet one remains calm while the other feels overwhelmed. The difference often lies not in the event itself, but in the thoughts each person brings to it. Consider a workplace example. Two managers receive an email requesting an urgent meeting on Monday morning. One thinks, "This is probably an opportunity to discuss our next project." The other immediately assumes, "I've done something wrong. I'm going to be criticized." The email is identical, but the emotional experience is completely different because each person interprets it differently. This is why awareness is the foundation of stress management. You cannot change what you fail to notice. One of the simplest, yet most effective tools for increasing awareness is keeping a stress journal. At the end of each day, or immediately after a stressful moment, write down what happened, how you felt, what you were thinking, and how your body reacted. You might notice that your shoulders became tense before a difficult conversation, your heart raced during meetings, or your patience disappeared after scrolling through social media for an hour. After several days, patterns begin to emerge. Perhaps you realize that lack of sleep makes minor inconveniences feel overwhelming. Maybe you notice that skipping meals leaves you irritable, or that checking work emails late at night prevents your mind from relaxing. These discoveries are incredibly valuable because they reveal the real causes behind your stress rather than just its symptoms. Many people believe their biggest source of stress is work, but work is often only part of the story. Sometimes the true trigger is poor planning, constant multitasking, or an inability to say no. Imagine a manager who dreads every Monday morning. At first, they blame Mondays themselves. However, after tracking their stress for several weeks, they discover a pattern. Every Friday, they leave unfinished tasks, ignore important emails, and fail to prepare for the upcoming week. By Monday, the workload feels overwhelming before the day even begins. Once they begin spending 30 minutes each Friday organizing priorities and clearing urgent tasks, Monday becomes noticeably calmer. The trigger was never Monday, it was the habit of poor preparation. Another hidden trigger is information overload. Today's world constantly demands your attention through emails, text messages, breaking news, notifications, and social media updates. Your brain was never designed to process an endless stream of information without rest. Constant interruptions prevent deep focus and leave your nervous system in a state of continuous alertness. Relationships can also become significant stress triggers. Difficult conversations, unresolved conflicts, unrealistic expectations, or spending time with people who constantly criticize or complain can quietly drain your emotional energy. This doesn't always mean removing people from your life. Sometimes it means changing how you communicate, setting healthier boundaries, or adjusting your expectations. Your physical environment matters more than you might think as well. A cluttered workspace, poor lighting, excessive noise, or a lack of personal space can gradually increase mental fatigue. Small improvements to your surroundings can create a surprising sense of calm and control. It's also important to recognize that not every trigger can be eliminated. You cannot prevent unexpected challenges, economic uncertainty, illness, or other people's behavior. However, you can prepare yourself to respond differently. This shift in perspective is incredibly empowering because it moves your attention away from trying to control everything around you and toward managing what happens within you. Ask yourself a few simple questions whenever you feel overwhelmed. What happened just before I felt stressed? What thoughts entered my mind? Is this situation actually dangerous, or does it only feel uncomfortable? Is there something practical I can change? If not, how can I respond more calmly? These questions interrupt automatic reactions and create space for thoughtful decisions instead of emotional impulses. Remember that identifying your stress triggers is not about blaming yourself or others. It is about understanding the patterns that influence your emotional well-being. Every trigger you recognize gives you an opportunity to make a healthier choice. Every pattern you uncover brings you one step closer to greater resilience. Stress loses much of its power the moment it is understood. Awareness shines a light on what was once hidden. And once you can clearly see the sources of your stress, you are no longer living at their mercy. You are beginning to take back control, one observation, one habit, and one intentional choice at a time. Chapter 3. Rewiring your mindset. Have you ever noticed that two people can walk through the same storm, yet come out with completely different experiences? One sees only obstacles, disappointment, and failure. The other sees lessons, opportunities, and growth. The storm is the same. The difference lies in the mindset each person brings to it. Your mindset is the invisible lens through which you interpret every experience. It shapes how you respond to criticism, setbacks, uncertainty, and success. More importantly, it determines whether stressful situations become temporary challenges or overwhelming burdens. While you can't always control what happens around you, you have far more influence over how you think about those events than you may realize. The human brain is an extraordinary prediction machine. Every second, it scans your surroundings, searching for potential threats. This ability helped our ancestors survive in dangerous environments, but in today's world, the brain often mistakes uncertainty for danger. An unanswered text message, a critical comment from a coworker, or a small mistake at work can trigger the same emotional alarm system that once protected us from physical threats. The problem is not the brain's desire to protect you. The problem is that it often tells stories that are incomplete or inaccurate. Imagine sending an important email and receiving no reply for several hours. A stressed mind may immediately begin creating negative explanations. They're ignoring me. I must have said something wrong. This project is going to fail. Without realizing it, your brain has transformed uncertainty into certainty, even though there is no evidence to support those conclusions. This mental habit is known as catastrophizing. It is one of the most common thinking traps that fuels chronic stress. Instead of evaluating reality, the mind jumps to the worst possible outcome. A small problem becomes a disaster before anything has actually happened. Another common thinking trap is all-or-nothing thinking. This mindset divides life into extremes. If a presentation isn't perfect, it's considered a complete failure. If one healthy habit is missed, the entire week feels ruined. This rigid way of thinking leaves little room for progress and creates unnecessary pressure. Perfectionism often grows from this pattern. Many people believe perfection protects them from criticism or failure. In reality, perfectionism creates constant stress because perfection is impossible to maintain. Every mistake feels personal. Every setback becomes evidence of not being good enough. Negative self-talk adds another layer to the problem. Consider the way many people speak to themselves after making a mistake. I'm so careless. I'll never get this right. I'm not smart enough. Now imagine saying those same words every day to a close friend. You probably never would. Yet countless people repeat these messages to themselves without questioning them. Your inner voice matters because your brain listens to it. Every repeated thought strengthens certain neural pathways. The more often you think a particular thought, the more automatic it becomes. Fortunately, the opposite is also true. Positive, realistic, and constructive thoughts can gradually become your brain's new default. This process is known as neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. For many years, scientists believed the adult brain was fixed and unchangeable. Today we know that the brain continuously adapts based on repeated experiences and thoughts. Every time you choose a healthier perspective, you strengthen a new mental pathway. This doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. Rewiring your mindset is not about ignoring reality or forcing yourself to feel happy all the time. Genuine optimism acknowledges difficulties while believing that solutions are possible. For example, instead of thinking everything is falling apart, try asking yourself, what part of this situation can I influence? Instead of saying, I'll never succeed, ask, what can I learn from this experience? Instead of believing, I'm terrible at this, remind yourself, I'm still learning. These small changes may seem insignificant, but they interrupt automatic negative thinking and redirect your attention toward growth. Another powerful strategy is separating facts from assumptions. Stress often grows because we confuse what we know with what we imagine. Suppose your supervisor says, "Can we talk after lunch?" The fact is simple. Your supervisor wants to speak with you. The assumption might be, "I'm going to lose my job." Until the conversation actually happens, every fearful story your mind creates is speculation, not reality. Whenever stressful thoughts arise, pause and ask yourself, what facts do I actually know? What assumptions am I making? Is there evidence supporting this belief? What is another reasonable explanation? These questions train your mind to respond with curiosity rather than fear. Gratitude is another surprisingly effective mindset shift. Stress naturally focuses attention on what's missing, what's uncertain, and what's going wrong. Gratitude gently redirects your attention toward what remains stable and meaningful. This doesn't require ignoring life's challenges. It simply means recognizing that difficult moments can exist alongside blessings. Even on stressful days, there are usually reasons to be thankful: a supportive friend, good health, a safe home, an opportunity to learn, or simply another chance to begin again. Over time, gratitude changes what your brain notices first. Instead of constantly scanning for danger, it also begins recognizing safety, progress, and possibility. It's equally important to reconsider how you define failure. Many people see failure as the opposite of success. In reality, failure is often one of success's greatest teachers. Every accomplished athlete, entrepreneur, artist, or scientist has experienced setbacks. Their advantage wasn't avoiding failure, it was refusing to let failure define their identity. Thomas Edison reportedly tested thousands of unsuccessful designs before inventing the practical light bulb. When asked about his failures, he explained that he had simply discovered many ways that didn't work. His mindset transformed disappointment into information. You can develop the same perspective. Every challenge contains feedback. Every mistake reveals an opportunity for improvement. Every setback strengthens resilience if you choose to learn from it. Remember that your mindset isn't formed overnight, and it won't change overnight either. Years of habitual thinking cannot be replaced in a single day. Be patient with yourself during this process. Whenever negative thoughts appear, don't criticize yourself for having them. Simply notice them, question them, and choose a healthier alternative. Think of your mind as a garden. Negative thoughts are like weeds. If left unattended, they spread quickly and consume valuable space. Positive, resilient thoughts are like flowers. They require regular attention, patience, and care, but over time they transform the entire landscape. By becoming aware of your thinking patterns, challenging limiting beliefs, and intentionally choosing healthier perspectives, you begin to rewire your brain for resilience rather than fear. Stressful situations may not disappear, but your ability to face them will become stronger with each passing day. The world around you may remain unpredictable. Deadlines will come, unexpected problems will arise, and life will continue to test your patience. But when your mindset becomes your greatest ally instead of your biggest critic, you discover something incredibly powerful. Peace is no longer dependent on perfect circumstances. It comes from knowing that whatever challenges appear, your mind has learned how to respond with clarity, confidence, and calm. Chapter 4. Mastering your emotional responses. Life is filled with moments that test our patience, challenge our confidence, and stir powerful emotions. A harsh comment from a colleague, an argument with a loved one, an unexpected setback, or even a simple misunderstanding can trigger feelings of anger, fear, frustration, sadness, or disappointment. While we cannot always control these events, we can learn to control how we respond to them. This ability is one of the greatest skills you can develop for managing stress and living a balanced life. Many people believe emotions happen to them. They think they have no choice but to react the moment they feel something. However, there is an important difference between having an emotion and acting on it. Emotions are automatic. Reactions are choices. The more you understand this distinction, the more control you gain over your life. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Within seconds, your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, and irritation begins to rise. At that moment, you have several options. You can yell, honk your horn, and spend the next 30 minutes replaying the incident in your mind. Or you can take a deep breath, recognize that the situation has already passed, and continue driving peacefully. The event lasts only a few seconds, but your response determines whether the stress lasts for seconds or for hours. This is why emotional intelligence is such an important part of stress management. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist. It is the ability to recognize your emotions, understand why they appear, and respond in ways that serve your long-term well-being rather than your immediate impulses. The first step is awareness. Many people move through life on emotional autopilot. They feel angry without asking why. They become anxious without recognizing what triggered the anxiety. They experience sadness without giving themselves permission to understand it. Awareness interrupts this automatic cycle. The next time you experience a strong emotion, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Instead of saying, I'm stressed, be more specific. Are you frustrated, embarrassed, disappointed, worried, lonely, overwhelmed? Naming your emotions may seem simple, but research shows that accurately identifying feelings reduces their intensity. When you give an emotion a name, your brain begins shifting from emotional reactivity toward logical thinking. After identifying the emotion, ask another important question. Why am I feeling this way? Often, the first answer isn't the real one. Suppose you're irritated with a family member for asking a simple question. At first, you might believe they caused your frustration. But after reflecting, you realize you barely slept the night before, skipped breakfast, and have been worrying about an upcoming deadline. The family member wasn't the true source of your emotional reaction. They simply happened to be present when your emotional reserves were already depleted. Understanding the cause of your emotions allows you to respond more wisely instead of unfairly directing frustration toward others. Another valuable practice is accepting emotions instead of resisting them. Many people believe negative emotions should be eliminated immediately. They tell themselves, I shouldn't feel anxious, or I need to stop being angry. Ironically, fighting emotions often makes them stronger. Think of emotions like waves in the ocean. You cannot stop the waves from coming, but you can learn to ride them instead of allowing them to pull you under. Every emotion rises, reaches its peak, and eventually fades if you allow it to move naturally through your mind without feeding it with endless thoughts. Breathing plays a surprisingly powerful role in emotional regulation. During stressful moments, breathing often becomes fast and shallow. This signals the nervous system that danger is present, keeping the body in a heightened state of alertness. Slow, deep breathing sends the opposite message. It tells your brain that you are safe. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath gently for a moment, then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat this several times. As your breathing slows, your heart rate begins to settle, your muscles relax, and your thoughts become clearer. This simple technique creates space between emotion and reaction. Learning to pause may be one of the most valuable habits you ever develop. Strong emotions often tempt us to act immediately. We send an angry message, make a hurtful comment, or make impulsive decisions we later regret. But emotions are temporary, while many consequences are permanent. Before responding during an emotionally charged moment, ask yourself 3 questions. Is what I'm about to say true? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? Even a brief pause of 10 seconds can prevent hours, days, or even years of regret. Empathy also strengthens emotional intelligence. Every person you meet is carrying invisible challenges. The impatient cashier may be caring for a sick parent. The distracted coworker may be struggling with personal difficulties. The friend who seems distant may simply be overwhelmed. Remembering this doesn't excuse poor behavior, but it helps replace immediate judgment with understanding. At the same time, emotional mastery does not mean ignoring your own needs to please others. Healthy emotional responses include expressing your feelings honestly and respectfully. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's appropriate to communicate your concerns calmly rather than remaining silent until resentment builds. Resilience grows when you stop viewing difficult emotions as enemies. Fear can encourage preparation, sadness can deepen compassion, disappointment can reveal what truly matters to you. Even anger, when understood and directed wisely, can motivate positive change. Every emotion carries information. The goal is to listen to that information without allowing it to control your actions. Developing emotional balance requires practice. There will still be days when frustration wins, anxiety feels overwhelming, or sadness lingers longer than expected. Progress is not measured by never experiencing difficult emotions. It is measured by recovering more quickly, reacting more thoughtfully, and learning something valuable from each experience. Imagine two trees standing through the same powerful storm. One is rigid, resisting every gust of wind until it finally snaps. The other bends with the wind, adapting without breaking. Emotional resilience works in much the same way. Strength is not found in refusing to feel emotions. True strength comes from allowing emotions to move through you while remaining firmly rooted in your values, your wisdom, and your sense of purpose. Remember that mastering your emotional responses is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming emotionally aware, emotionally balanced, and emotionally wise. When you learn to pause before reacting, understand before judging, and respond instead of impulsively reacting, you reclaim something incredibly valuable, the power to choose your own peace, regardless of what life places in your path. Chapter 5. The Science of Relaxation. Modern life celebrates busyness. The more hours people work, the more responsibilities they juggle, and the more exhausted they appear, the more productive they are often perceived to be. Rest, on the other hand, is sometimes viewed as laziness or a luxury that can wait until everything is finished. The problem is that everything is never finished. There is always another email to answer, another bill to pay, another meeting to attend, or another problem to solve. Without realizing it, millions of people spend years living in a constant state of tension, believing that this is simply how life is supposed to feel. Your body tells a different story. The human body was never designed to remain under continuous stress. It was designed to move between periods of challenge and periods of recovery. Just as your muscles need time to recover after exercise, your brain and nervous system need regular opportunities to rest. Without recovery, performance declines, emotions become unstable, creativity disappears, and even simple tasks begin to feel overwhelming. Relaxation is not the absence of activity. It is an active biological process that allows your body to repair itself. When you relax, your nervous system shifts from the fight or flight mode into what scientists call the rest and digest state. Your heart rate slows, blood pressure decreases, breathing becomes steady, digestion improves, and stress hormones such as cortisol begin to fall. At the same time, your brain becomes more capable of clear thinking, problem solving, and emotional regulation. In other words, relaxation is not wasting time. It is restoring your ability to perform at your best. One of the simplest and most powerful relaxation techniques is conscious breathing. Most people never think about how they breathe because breathing happens automatically. Yet during stressful moments, breathing changes dramatically. It becomes quick, shallow, and irregular. This sends a message to the brain that danger is present even when no real threat exists. Fortunately, the opposite is also true. By intentionally slowing your breathing, you can send a message back to your brain that everything is safe. A simple technique is diaphragmatic breathing, sometimes called belly breathing. Sit comfortably with your shoulders relaxed. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your stomach. Slowly inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, allowing your stomach, not your chest, to rise. Hold your breath gently for a second or two, then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat this process for 5 minutes. At first it may feel unusual, but within a few minutes you will often notice your heartbeat slowing, your muscles relaxing, and your thoughts becoming less scattered. This technique is so effective that athletes use it before competitions, musicians practice it before performances, and emergency responders rely on it during high-pressure situations. Imagine a university student sitting outside an examination hall. Their hands are shaking, their heart is racing, and anxious thoughts keep repeating, "What if I forget everything?" Instead of allowing panic to grow, the student spends 5 minutes practicing slow diaphragmatic breathing. Their heartbeat gradually slows, their shoulders relax, and their thoughts become clearer. The exam itself hasn't changed, but their ability to face it has improved dramatically. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't changing the situation, it's changing your state of mind before entering it. Another scientifically supported method of relaxation is mindfulness. Mindfulness simply means paying full attention to the present moment without judging it. Although this sounds simple, it is surprisingly difficult because the human mind constantly wanders between regretting the past and worrying about the future. Stress thrives in these mental journeys. Consider how often your body is in one place while your mind is somewhere else. You're eating dinner while thinking about tomorrow's workload. You're spending time with family while checking work emails. You're trying to sleep while replaying yesterday's mistakes. The present moment becomes crowded with thoughts that have nothing to do with what is happening right now. Mindfulness gently brings your attention back to the present. You can begin with something as simple as observing your breath for 2 or 3 minutes. Notice the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. When your mind wanders, and it will, simply guide it back without frustration. Every return is part of the practice. Over time, mindfulness strengthens your ability to remain calm even when life becomes chaotic. Meditation builds upon this same principle. Many people believe meditation requires clearing the mind completely, but that is a misunderstanding. The goal is not to eliminate thoughts. The goal is to observe them without becoming trapped by them. Imagine standing beside a river. Every thought is like a leaf floating on the water. Some leaves move quickly, others slowly. Instead of jumping into the river and chasing every leaf, you simply watch them pass. Meditation teaches you to become the observer rather than the prisoner of your thoughts. Even 10 minutes of daily meditation has been shown to improve focus, reduce anxiety, enhance emotional regulation, and strengthen resilience. Like physical exercise, the benefits accumulate through consistency rather than intensity. Another valuable relaxation method is progressive muscle relaxation. Stress often hides inside the body long before we consciously recognize it. Tight shoulders, clenched jaws, stiff necks, headaches, and tense hands are all common signs that the body is carrying emotional pressure. Progressive muscle relaxation helps release this hidden tension. Beginning with your feet, gently tighten the muscles for about 5 seconds, then slowly release them. Continue moving upward through your calves, thighs, abdomen, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, and face. As you release each muscle group, notice the difference between tension and relaxation. Many people are surprised to discover how much unnecessary tension they carry every day. By intentionally relaxing the body, you also calm the mind. Nature offers another powerful form of relaxation that modern science increasingly supports. Spending time outdoors lowers stress hormones, reduces blood pressure, improves mood, and restores mental energy. A quiet walk through a park, Sitting beside a lake or simply listening to birds in the morning can provide your brain with the recovery it desperately needs. Digital overload, however, often prevents this recovery. Smartphones have become constant companions, filling every quiet moment with notifications, messages, news, and endless scrolling. While technology connects us in remarkable ways, it also keeps the brain continuously stimulated. Consider creating small periods of digital silence each day. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Avoid checking your phone immediately after waking up or just before going to bed. Give your mind permission to experience moments without constant input. These quiet spaces allow your nervous system to reset. It's equally important to understand that relaxation looks different for different people. Some people feel restored through meditation. Others find peace while gardening, painting, reading, praying, listening to music, cooking, or taking a peaceful walk. The activity matters less than the effect it has on your mind and body. The best relaxation practice is the one you will consistently enjoy and maintain. Many people make the mistake of waiting until they feel completely overwhelmed before trying to relax. This is like waiting until your car runs out of fuel before looking for a gas station. Relaxation works best as prevention rather than emergency treatment. Think of it as daily maintenance for your mind. Just as brushing your teeth prevents future problems, regular relaxation protects your mental and emotional health before stress reaches unhealthy levels. Remember this important truth: strength is not measured by how much stress you can endure. True strength is measured by how wisely you recover from it. Every deep breath, every mindful moment, every quiet walk, and every intentional pause is an investment in a healthier, calmer, and more resilient version of yourself. Life will continue to present challenges. Deadlines will still exist. Unexpected problems will still appear. But when relaxation becomes a daily habit instead of an occasional escape, you equip yourself with something far more valuable than temporary relief. You develop the ability to return to a place of clarity, balance, and inner peace again and again, no matter what life brings your way. Chapter 6. Building Daily Habits That Defeat Stress. Stress is often blamed on major life events, a demanding job, financial difficulties, relationship problems, or unexpected challenges. While these situations certainly create pressure, they are not always the biggest reason people feel overwhelmed. More often than not, it is the small habits repeated every day that determine whether stress grows stronger or weaker. Think about two people facing the exact same workload. One constantly feels exhausted, anxious, and overwhelmed. The other remains focused, energetic, and composed. The difference is rarely intelligence or talent. More often, it is the collection of daily habits that quietly shape their physical and mental well-being. The truth is simple. Your habits either prepare you to handle stress or make you more vulnerable to it. One of the most powerful habits is getting enough quality sleep. Sleep is not merely a time when your body shuts down. It is when your brain performs some of its most important work. During sleep, memories are organized, emotions are processed, hormones are regulated, and the body repairs itself. When sleep is consistently interrupted or shortened, your brain becomes more sensitive to stress. Small inconveniences begin to feel like major problems because your emotional reserves are already depleted. Imagine two co-workers preparing for an important presentation. One slept for 7 or 8 hours and woke feeling refreshed. The other stayed awake until 2 o'clock in the morning, scrolling through social media and answering emails. Both face the same presentation, but the well-rested co-worker is more likely to think clearly, stay calm under pressure, and solve unexpected problems. The sleep-deprived co-worker, however, may struggle with concentration, become irritable, and experience far greater anxiety. The challenge didn't change, only their level of preparation did. Creating a healthy sleep routine does not require perfection. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day, limiting screen time before bed, keeping your bedroom cool and quiet, and avoiding heavy meals or caffeine late in the evening can significantly improve the quality of your rest. Nutrition is another habit that directly influences stress. Your brain depends on a steady supply of nutrients to function properly. Skipping meals, consuming excessive sugar, or relying on processed foods may provide temporary energy, but they often leave you feeling sluggish, irritable, and mentally drained. Think of your body as a high-performance vehicle. You would not expect a luxury car to perform well with poor quality fuel. Likewise, your brain performs best when nourished with balanced meals that include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, lean proteins, and plenty of water. Even small improvements in your diet can lead to noticeable changes in mood and energy levels. Exercise is another powerful stress-reducing habit. Many people see exercise only as a way to improve physical appearance, but its benefits extend far beyond fitness. Physical activity encourages the release of endorphins, often called the body's natural feel-good chemicals. These chemicals improve mood, reduce anxiety, and help counteract the effects of stress hormones. The good news is that you do not need to spend hours in a gym. A brisk 20 or 30-minute walk, cycling, stretching, dancing, swimming, or even gardening can provide meaningful benefits. The goal is consistency, not intensity. Every movement tells your body that it is strong, capable, and prepared to handle life's challenges. Time management also plays a critical role in stress management. Ironically, many people waste energy worrying about tasks instead of actually completing them. They constantly think about everything they need to do without deciding where to begin. As responsibilities pile up, stress naturally increases. One simple strategy is to begin each day by identifying the 3 most important tasks you want to accomplish. Instead of focusing on an endless to-do list, concentrate your energy on completing what truly matters. Breaking large projects into smaller, manageable steps also prevents feelings of being overwhelmed. Progress, no matter how small, builds confidence and reduces mental pressure. Consider 2 co-workers with identical workloads. One arrives at work without a plan, checks emails continuously, jumps between tasks, and spends the day reacting to interruptions. By evening, they feel exhausted but have accomplished very little. The other spends 10 minutes organizing priorities, completes important work before checking emails, and takes short breaks to maintain focus. Although both work the same number of hours, the second co-worker finishes the day feeling far more productive and significantly less stressed. The difference is not effort, it is intention. Another habit worth developing is taking regular breaks. Many people believe working continuously increases productivity, but research consistently shows the opposite. The brain needs short periods of recovery to maintain concentration and creativity. Even standing up, stretching, walking for 5 minutes, or looking away from a computer screen can refresh your attention and improve your performance. Hydration is another surprisingly overlooked factor. Even mild dehydration can affect concentration, mood, and energy. Drinking enough water throughout the day helps your body function efficiently and supports mental clarity. It is a simple habit with meaningful benefits. Equally important is learning to create moments of stillness in your day. Constant busyness leaves little room for reflection or recovery. Whether it is spending 10 quiet minutes with a cup of tea, practicing mindfulness, reading a few pages of an inspiring book, or simply sitting outside and enjoying fresh air, these moments help reset your nervous system before stress accumulates. Remember, habits are not built through dramatic changes. They grow through small, consistent actions repeated over time. Many people become discouraged because they try to transform their entire lifestyle overnight. They commit to exercising every day, eliminating all unhealthy foods, waking up at 5 in the morning, and meditating for an hour. Within a week, they feel overwhelmed and return to old routines. Real transformation happens differently. Start with one habit. Perhaps you decide to sleep 30 minutes earlier, take a daily walk, drink more water, or spend 5 minutes planning your morning. Once that habit becomes automatic, Add another. Small improvements may seem insignificant at first, but they compound over time, creating remarkable results. Imagine building a house one brick at a time. No single brick seems impressive on its own, yet together they create something strong enough to withstand storms. Your daily habits work the same way. Every healthy meal, every good night's sleep, every walk, every deep breath, and every intentional choice becomes another brick in the foundation of a resilient life. Stress will always be part of the human experience, but it does not have to dominate your days. By building habits that strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, and restore your energy, you prepare yourself not only to survive life's challenges, but to thrive despite them. Great resilience is not created by extraordinary actions performed occasionally. It is built through ordinary habits practiced consistently, one day at a time. Chapter 7. Letting go of what you can't control. One of the greatest sources of stress is not the problems we face, but our desire to control things that were never ours to control. We worry about other people's opinions, replay conversations that have already ended, imagine countless worst-case scenarios, and exhaust ourselves trying to predict an uncertain future. The more tightly we try to hold on to everything, the more anxious and overwhelmed we become. The truth is both simple and liberating. Not everything in life is within your control. At first, this idea may sound discouraging. After all, who wants to admit they cannot control every outcome? But accepting this reality is one of the most powerful steps toward lasting peace. Freedom begins the moment you stop fighting battles that cannot be won and start directing your energy toward the things that truly matter. Imagine standing in the middle of a heavy rainstorm, shouting at the clouds and demanding that they stop raining. No matter how loudly you argue, the weather will not change. The wiser response is to open an umbrella, seek shelter, or wait patiently until the storm passes. Life works in much the same way. Many stressful situations are like the weather. You cannot control them, but you can choose how you respond. Unfortunately, many people spend years resisting reality. They become frustrated because traffic is slow, angry because someone disagrees with them, anxious because the economy is uncertain, or disappointed because life failed to match their expectations. While these feelings are understandable, constantly resisting reality only multiplies stress. A helpful question to ask yourself during difficult moments is this within my control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, practice acceptance. Acceptance is often misunderstood. Many people believe accepting reality means giving up, becoming passive, or lowering expectations. In truth, acceptance is neither weakness nor surrender. It is simply recognizing reality as it is before deciding how to move forward. Consider a traveler whose flight is cancelled because of severe weather. They can spend hours arguing with airline employees, complaining about the weather and becoming increasingly frustrated. Or they can calmly begin searching for the next available flight, notify family members about the delay, and use the waiting time to read, work, or rest. The cancelled flight remains the same in both situations. The difference lies in where the traveler chooses to focus their energy. Acceptance allows you to move from resistance to action. One practical way to reduce unnecessary stress is to separate your concerns into two circles. The first circle contains everything you can influence: your attitude, your habits, your effort, your preparation, your words, your decisions, and your response to challenges all belong here. The second circle contains everything outside your control. Other people's opinions, the past, unexpected weather, economic conditions, aging, traffic, and many of life's uncertainties belong in this circle. The more time you spend focusing on the second circle, the more powerless you feel. The more attention you give to the first circle, the more confident and capable you become. This shift in perspective does not remove life's difficulties, but it changes your relationship with them. Another common source of stress is the desire for certainty. Human beings naturally seek predictability because uncertainty makes the brain uncomfortable. We want guarantees that our plans will succeed, our relationships will last, our health will remain strong, and our future will unfold exactly as expected. But life offers very few guarantees. Trying to eliminate every uncertainty is like trying to stop the wind from blowing. It simply isn't possible. Instead of asking, "How can I make life completely certain?" ask, "How can I become strong enough to handle uncertainty?" This small change transforms your focus from controlling the future to strengthening yourself. Perspective also plays an important role in letting go. During stressful moments, problems often appear much larger than they truly are. Ask yourself a few questions. Will this matter 1 year from now? Is this situation as serious as my emotions are making it seem? Am I reacting to reality, or am I reacting to my fears? These questions create emotional distance and allow clearer thinking. Forgiveness is another essential part of letting go. Carrying resentment is like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. The longer you hold on to anger, the heavier it becomes. Forgiveness does not mean pretending someone was right or excusing harmful behavior. It means deciding that you will no longer allow the past to control your present. Sometimes the person who deserves forgiveness most is yourself. Many people continue punishing themselves for mistakes made years ago. They replay embarrassing moments, regret missed opportunities, and criticize themselves for decisions they cannot change. Yet no amount of guilt can rewrite yesterday. The past is a teacher, not a prison. Learn from it, grow because of it. Then allow yourself to move forward. Another habit that supports acceptance is practicing flexibility. Life rarely follows our carefully designed plans. Projects take longer than expected. Opportunities disappear. New responsibilities appear without warning. People change. Circumstances shift. Rigid thinking creates frustration whenever reality differs from expectations. Flexible thinking asks, given what has happened, what is the best step forward? Notice the difference. One mindset resists change, the other adapts to it. Like water flowing around rocks in a river, flexibility allows you to continue moving even when obstacles appear. This does not mean you stop pursuing meaningful goals. It simply means you remain open to different paths toward those goals. Some of life's greatest opportunities arrive disguised as unexpected detours. When one door closes, another often opens, but only if you stop staring at the closed door long enough to notice it. There will always be things beyond your influence. People will misunderstand you. Plans will fail. Unexpected losses will occur. Life will occasionally surprise you in painful ways. But there is one thing no circumstance can completely take away: your ability to choose your response. That choice is where your true power lives. Every time you release unnecessary worry, every time you accept reality instead of fighting it, and every time you redirect your attention toward what you can influence, you reclaim a little more peace. Imagine carrying a rope tied to dozens of heavy stones. Each stone represents something you cannot control: someone else's approval, yesterday's mistakes, tomorrow's uncertainties, or circumstances beyond your influence. Every unnecessary worry makes the load heavier. Now imagine cutting those ropes one by one. The stones remain where they are, but you are no longer carrying them. That is the gift of letting go. It does not change the world around you. It changes the weight you carry through it. And when your mind is no longer burdened by the impossible task of controlling everything, you gain something far more valuable than certainty. You gain freedom, the freedom to focus on your choices, protect your peace, and move through life with resilience, confidence, and calm. Chapter 8. Creating Healthy Boundaries. Imagine owning a beautiful house with no doors, no windows, and no fences. Anyone could walk in at any time, take whatever they wanted, make as much noise as they pleased, and leave whenever they wished. Before long, your home would no longer feel safe or peaceful. It would become chaotic, exhausting, and impossible to maintain. Now consider your life. Your time, energy, emotions, and attention are your most valuable resources. Without healthy boundaries, people, responsibilities, technology, and endless demands can enter your life just as easily as strangers entering an unprotected house. Eventually, you begin to feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and constantly stressed. Not because you lack strength, but because you never learned to protect what matters most. Healthy boundaries are not walls that shut people out. They are clear guidelines that help you decide what you will accept, what you will not tolerate, and how you choose to spend your time and energy. They allow you to care for others without neglecting yourself. Many people struggle with boundaries because they confuse kindness with self-sacrifice. They believe saying yes makes them generous, dependable, or likable. As a result, they agree to extra work when they are already exhausted, attend events they do not enjoy, answer messages at all hours of the day, and solve problems that are not theirs to solve. At first, this behavior may earn appreciation, but over time, it often leads to resentment, exhaustion, and burnout. The truth is simple. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something important. You may be saying no to your health, no to your family, no to your personal growth, no to rest, no to peace of mind. Learning to say no is one of the most valuable stress management skills you can develop. Many people fear that saying no will disappoint others or damage relationships. While that may occasionally happen, constantly saying yes when you truly mean no damages your relationship with yourself. You begin living according to other people's expectations instead of your own values. Fortunately, saying no does not require being rude or confrontational. You can say, "I appreciate the opportunity, but I can't commit to that right now. Thank you for thinking of me, but I already have other priorities. I'd love to help, but I don't have the capacity today." These responses are honest, respectful, and clear. They protect your time without creating unnecessary conflict. Remember, people who genuinely respect you will usually respect your boundaries as well. Boundaries are equally important in the workplace. Many professionals feel pressure to remain constantly available. Emails arrive late at night. Messages appear during weekends. Meetings fill every hour of the day. Gradually, work begins invading every corner of personal life. Imagine an employee named Sarah who checks work emails before getting out of bed each morning. Throughout the day, notifications constantly interrupt her focus. Even after returning home, she continues answering messages until bedtime because she fears appearing uncommitted. At first, this seems productive. In reality, Sarah never truly rests. Her mind remains connected to work 24 hours a day. Sleep becomes difficult. Family conversations feel distracted. Weekends lose their purpose. Eventually, exhaustion replaces enthusiasm. Now imagine Sarah making one small change. She decides that unless there is a genuine emergency, she will stop checking work emails after 7 o'clock each evening. She communicates this expectation politely with her colleagues and organizes her workday more effectively. During the first week, she worries that people will think she is less dedicated. Instead, something unexpected happens. She sleeps better, her concentration improves. She becomes more productive during working hours because she is no longer mentally exhausted. Her relationships grow stronger because she is fully present with the people she loves. The amount of work hasn't changed, her boundaries have. Technology has made boundaries more important than ever before. Smartphones have blurred the line between work and personal life. Every notification competes for your attention. Every vibration invites another interruption. Social media encourages endless comparison, endless scrolling, and endless stimulation. Many people begin their mornings by checking notifications before their feet even touch the floor. Others end their evenings scrolling through news, videos, and social media until they fall asleep with their phones beside them. Without realizing it, they never give their minds an opportunity to rest. Creating digital boundaries can dramatically reduce stress. Consider simple habits such as turning off non-essential notifications, keeping your phone away during meals, avoiding screens for the first 30 minutes after waking up, or creating one technology-free hour before bedtime. These small changes create moments of quiet that your nervous system desperately needs. Relationships also require healthy boundaries. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, honesty, and trust, not constant availability. Some people consistently drain your emotional energy. They criticize everything you do. They expect you to solve every problem. They demand your attention while showing little concern for your needs. You cannot always choose who enters your life, but you can choose how much influence they have over your emotional well-being. Setting boundaries with difficult people may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if they are accustomed to unlimited access to your time and energy. Some may even resist your new limits. Do not mistake their discomfort for evidence that your boundaries are wrong. People often resist boundaries because they benefited from your lack of them. Healthy boundaries are not designed to punish others. They exist to protect your peace. Equally important is creating boundaries with yourself. Not every distraction comes from other people. Sometimes the greatest challenge is learning to manage your own habits. Perhaps you promise yourself that you will spend only 10 minutes on social media, only to discover an hour has disappeared. Perhaps you continue working long after your concentration has faded because you feel guilty taking a break. Perhaps you fill every free moment with activity because being still feels uncomfortable. Self-boundaries involve creating personal rules that support your well-being. You might decide not to check your phone during meals. You might schedule daily exercise as a non-negotiable appointment. You might commit to protecting your sleep by going to bed at the same time each night. These decisions are promises you make to yourself and keep. Remember that boundaries are not selfish. Imagine trying to pour water into someone else's glass when your own pitcher is empty. Eventually, there is nothing left to give. Taking care of yourself allows you to care for others more effectively. An exhausted parent struggles to be patient. A burned-out employee becomes less productive. A constantly overwhelmed friend finds it difficult to offer genuine support. Protecting your own well-being is not abandoning others. It is ensuring that you have the strength to continue showing up for them. Creating boundaries requires courage because it asks you to prioritize long-term peace over short-term approval. Some people may misunderstand your decisions. Others may question your availability. A few may even become disappointed. That is okay. You are not responsible for meeting every expectation placed upon you. You are responsible for protecting your health, your values, and your peace of mind. Think of boundaries as the banks of a river. Without banks, water spreads in every direction, becoming shallow, chaotic, and ineffective. With strong banks, the river flows with purpose, strength, and clarity. Your life works the same way. Boundaries do not limit your freedom. They give your energy direction. They allow you to invest your time where it matters most, build healthier relationships, and create space for rest, growth, and joy. As you continue this journey toward mastering stress, remember this simple truth. Every healthy boundary you establish is an act of self-respect. Every thoughtful no protects a meaningful yes. Every moment you reclaim from unnecessary demands becomes an investment in the calm, balanced, and resilient life you are working so hard to create. When you protect your energy, you don't become less generous. You become capable of giving your best instead of giving what's left. Chapter 9. Building Unshakable Resilience. Life does not ask for permission before presenting challenges. One day, everything seems to be moving according to plan, and the next, an unexpected setback changes everything. A career opportunity disappears, a relationship ends, a business struggles, a loved one becomes ill. Dreams are delayed, plans fall apart, and uncertainty suddenly becomes part of daily life. The difference between people who merely survive these moments and those who emerge stronger is not the absence of hardship. It is resilience. Resilience is often misunderstood. Many people imagine resilient individuals as people who never feel fear, sadness, disappointment, or anxiety. In reality, resilience has nothing to do with avoiding difficult emotions. Resilient people experience pain just like everyone else. They cry, they struggle, they become discouraged, and they occasionally doubt themselves. The difference is that they refuse to stay down. Resilience is the ability to recover, adapt, and continue moving forward despite life's challenges. It is not about being unbreakable. It is about becoming stronger every time life tests you. Think of a bamboo tree during a powerful storm. While larger trees may snap under the force of strong winds, bamboo bends with the wind without breaking. When the storm passes, it rises again. Its strength comes from flexibility rather than rigidity. Human resilience works in much the same way. One of the first steps in building resilience is changing the way you view adversity. Most people naturally ask, "Why is this happening to me?" While understandable, this question often keeps us trapped in frustration and self-pity. A more empowering question is, what is this experience trying to teach me? This small shift changes your role from victim to learner. Every challenge carries a lesson. Failure teaches preparation. Disappointment teaches patience. Loss teaches gratitude. Uncertainty teaches adaptability. Pain often reveals strengths that comfort never could. History is filled with examples of people who transformed setbacks into remarkable achievements. Entrepreneurs who experienced bankruptcy later built thriving businesses. Athletes who suffered devastating injuries returned stronger than before. Scientists whose experiments repeatedly failed eventually made discoveries that changed the world. Their success was not built on avoiding failure, it was built on learning from it. This does not mean every hardship has an obvious purpose or that painful experiences should be welcomed. Some events are deeply difficult and unfair. But even in those moments, resilience allows you to ask, "What can I control now?" That question shifts your attention away from what has been lost and toward what can still be built. Optimism also plays an important role in resilience. True optimism is not pretending that everything is perfect. It is believing that today's difficulties do not define tomorrow's possibilities. Imagine climbing a mountain covered in thick fog. You cannot see the summit. You may only see the next few steps ahead. If you stop simply because you cannot see the entire path, you will never reach the top. Resilient people keep walking. They trust that clarity will come as they continue moving forward. Small actions matter greatly during difficult times. When facing major challenges, people often feel overwhelmed because they focus on the size of the problem instead of the next step. Suppose you lose your job unexpectedly. Thinking about months of uncertainty all at once can feel paralyzing. Instead, resilience encourages smaller questions. Can I update my resume today? Can I apply for 3 positions this week? Can I learn one new skill while searching? Small victories rebuild confidence. Progress creates momentum. Momentum restores hope. Another essential part of resilience is maintaining supportive relationships. Many people isolate themselves when life becomes difficult. They believe asking for help is a sign of weakness or that they must solve every problem alone. Nothing could be further from the truth. Human beings are designed for connection. Sharing your struggles with trusted family members, friends, mentors, or supportive communities provides encouragement, perspective, and emotional strength. Sometimes another person's belief in you is enough to help you believe in yourself again. Likewise, offering support to others strengthens your own resilience. Acts of kindness remind you that even during difficult seasons, you still have something meaningful to contribute. Self-compassion is equally important. Many people become their own harshest critics during setbacks. After making a mistake, they say things they would never say to someone they care about. I'm a failure. I'll never recover. I should have known better. These thoughts add unnecessary suffering to an already difficult situation. Imagine a close friend experiencing the same setback. Would you criticize them relentlessly, or would you encourage them with patience and understanding? Offer yourself that same compassion. Mistakes are part of being human. Growth always includes imperfection. Physical health also influences emotional resilience. During stressful periods, it becomes even more important to protect your sleep, eat nourishing foods, stay physically active, and practice relaxation techniques. A healthy body provides the energy your mind needs to recover from adversity. Resilience is strengthened through preparation as well. Just as buildings in earthquake-prone regions are designed to withstand future shocks, healthy habits create a strong emotional foundation before life's storms arrive. Every good night's sleep, every mindful breath, every healthy boundary, every positive relationship, every challenge you overcome, each one becomes another layer of emotional strength. Remember that resilience does not eliminate pain, it changes your relationship with it. Instead of asking whether life will become easier, begin asking whether you are becoming stronger. Over time, the answer will become yes. One of the most inspiring truths about resilience is that it grows through use. Every obstacle you overcome increases your confidence for the next one. Think back to difficulties you once believed were impossible to survive. Perhaps it was your first major disappointment, a financial hardship, a difficult exam, or the end of an important relationship. At the time, it may have felt overwhelming. Yet here you are. You survived. You learned. You continued moving forward. That experience became evidence that you are stronger than you once believed. Future challenges will draw strength from those past victories. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. The metal is repeatedly heated by intense fire and shaped through powerful blows from a hammer. Without the heat and pressure, the sword would never become strong enough to fulfill its purpose. Human character develops in much the same way. Life's difficulties do not always arrive to destroy you. Sometimes they arrive to shape you. Every setback teaches resilience. Every disappointment builds patience. Every obstacle strengthens determination. Every storm prepares you for greater responsibilities ahead. As this chapter comes to an end, remember one powerful truth. Resilience is not something you either have or don't have. It is something you build. One decision, one habit, one challenge, one courageous step at a time. No matter what lies ahead, trust that you possess the ability to adapt, recover, and grow. Life may bend you, but it does not have to break you. With every obstacle you face, you are becoming wiser, stronger, and more capable than you were before, and that quiet, steady strength is one of the greatest gifts you can ever develop. Chapter 10. Finding Balance in a Busy World. Modern life often rewards busyness more than balance. Ask someone how they're doing, and one of the most common responses is, "I've been so busy." For many people, being busy has become a symbol of success, ambition, and importance. Calendars are packed with meetings, phones never stop buzzing, weekends disappear beneath unfinished tasks, and free time begins to feel like a luxury instead of a necessity. Yet, despite doing more than ever before, many people feel less fulfilled than they did years ago. The reason is simple. Being busy is not the same as living a balanced life. Imagine a bicycle. It doesn't stay upright because one wheel is larger or stronger than the other. It moves forward because both wheels work together in harmony. Life operates in much the same way. Work, family, health, friendships, personal growth, and rest all play important roles. When one area dominates everything else, balance begins to disappear and stress quietly takes its place. Many people believe balance means giving equal time to every part of life, every single day. In reality, perfect balance rarely exists. Some days your work will demand more attention. Other days your family, health, or personal responsibilities will become the priority. Balance is not about dividing your hours equally. It is about making sure that no important part of your life is neglected for too long. One of the biggest obstacles to balance is confusing activity with productivity. Imagine two business owners. The first begins every morning by immediately checking emails, answering phone calls, attending meetings, and constantly switching between tasks. By evening, they feel exhausted but struggle to identify meaningful progress. The second spends 15 minutes planning the day before opening any emails. They identify the most important priorities, complete focused work without constant interruptions, take short breaks, and leave the office at a reasonable hour. Both individuals worked hard, but only one worked with intention. Productivity is not measured by how many hours you spend working. It is measured by the value you create during those hours. This is why prioritization matters so much. Every day presents countless demands on your attention. Trying to accomplish everything often results in accomplishing very little. Instead of asking, "How can I do more today?" ask yourself, "What matters most today?" This simple question helps separate urgent tasks from truly important ones. Some activities create lasting value. Others simply create the feeling of being busy. Learning the difference is one of the greatest time management skills you can develop. Balance also requires learning when to stop. Many people continue working long after their minds have become exhausted. They believe another hour will help them get ahead, but fatigue gradually reduces concentration, creativity, and decision-making ability. Eventually, working longer produces fewer results. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is part of productivity. Consider professional athletes. They understand that muscles grow stronger not only during training, but also during recovery. Without adequate rest, performance declines and injuries become more likely. Your mind follows the same principle. Continuous work without recovery eventually leads to burnout. Scheduling regular breaks throughout the day allows your brain to recharge, making you more effective when you return to your responsibilities. Family and relationships deserve equal attention. Many people work hard to provide a better life for those they love, but unintentionally sacrifice meaningful time with them in the process. Imagine a business owner who decides that every Wednesday evening belongs exclusively to family. During those hours, the phone is silenced, work emails remain unopened, and full attention is given to conversations, shared meals, or simple moments together. Sunday mornings are also reserved for rest and personal reflection. At first, the business owner worries that working fewer hours will reduce productivity. Instead, something remarkable happens. Returning to work after periods of genuine rest improves focus, creativity, and decision-making. Relationships become stronger, stress decreases, happiness increases. The workload remains demanding, but life feels more balanced because important relationships receive the attention they deserve. Personal growth is another area that is often overlooked. When responsibilities become overwhelming, people frequently postpone learning, reading, exercising, developing new skills, or pursuing hobbies. They promise themselves they will make time later. Unfortunately, later often becomes never. A balanced life includes continuous growth. Reading a few pages each day, learning a new language, practicing a musical instrument, or developing professional skills keeps the mind engaged and reminds you that life is about more than simply completing responsibilities. Equally important is making time for yourself. Many people feel guilty spending time alone because they believe every moment should be productive or devoted to helping others. But solitude provides something irreplaceable: It creates space to think, reflect, recharge, and reconnect with your values. Whether it involves walking in nature, journaling, meditating, praying, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of coffee without distractions, these moments strengthen emotional balance. Another challenge to modern balance is comparison. Social media constantly exposes us to carefully edited versions of other people's lives. We see promotions, vacations, celebrations, expensive purchases, and smiling family photographs while rarely seeing the struggles behind them. Comparing your everyday reality to someone else's highlight reel creates unnecessary pressure. Remember that balance looks different for everyone. Your priorities, goals, values, and circumstances are unique. Instead of asking whether your life looks like someone else's, ask whether your life reflects what matters most to you. Learning to protect your calendar is also essential. Every commitment you accept occupies time that cannot be recovered. Before agreeing to new responsibilities, ask yourself, does this align with my priorities? Do I truly have time for this? What will I have to sacrifice if I say yes? Sometimes protecting your balance means politely declining opportunities that do not support your long-term well-being. Finally, remember that balance is not a destination you reach once and keep forever. Life constantly changes. A new job, a growing family, unexpected illness, changing goals. Each season requires adjustment. Think of a sailor navigating the ocean. The captain does not set the wheel once and expect the ship to reach its destination automatically. Throughout the journey, small corrections are constantly made as the wind and waves change. Life requires the same flexibility. Regularly pause and ask yourself, am I giving enough attention to my health? Have I spent meaningful time with the people I love? Am I growing as a person? Am I making time for rest? Are my daily choices aligned with the life I truly want? These simple questions help you make small adjustments before imbalance becomes burnout. A meaningful life is not built by squeezing every possible task into your schedule. It is built by investing your limited time in what truly matters. Success without health eventually feels empty. Achievement without relationships becomes lonely. Wealth without peace of mind offers little satisfaction. True success is not measured by how busy you are. It is measured by how well your life reflects your deepest values. As you continue building resilience and managing stress, remember this important truth. Balance is not about doing everything. It is about doing the right things at the right time while protecting your health, your relationships, your purpose, and your peace. When these areas work together, life becomes more than a race to finish responsibilities. It becomes a journey filled with meaning, fulfillment, and lasting well-being. Chapter 11. Designing a calm and meaningful life. Stress management is not only about reducing pressure or overcoming difficult moments. It is also about intentionally creating a life where peace, purpose, and fulfillment become your everyday experience. By now, you have learned how to understand stress, identify its triggers, strengthen your mindset, manage your emotions, build healthy habits, let go of unnecessary worries, create healthy boundaries, develop resilience, and find balance. The next step is bringing all of these lessons together to design a life that supports your well-being instead of constantly working against it. A meaningful life does not happen by accident. It is built through intentional choices, repeated day after day. Imagine an architect designing a home. Every room has a purpose. Every window is placed to allow light inside. Every wall is carefully planned to create comfort and function. In the same way, your life deserves thoughtful design. If you leave everything to chance, stress will naturally fill every empty space. But when you build your days with intention, peace begins to replace chaos. The first place to begin is your environment. Your surroundings influence your thoughts more than you may realize. A cluttered room often creates a cluttered mind. Constant noise, endless distractions, and disorganization quietly increase mental fatigue throughout the day. Creating a peaceful environment does not require a perfect home or expensive furniture. Sometimes the smallest changes make the greatest difference. Organizing your workspace, opening the curtains to let in natural light, keeping your bedroom clean, adding a plant, or creating a quiet reading corner can make your environment feel calmer and more inviting. Your environment should support your goals rather than distract you from them. Just as important as your physical environment is your mental environment. Every day, your mind is exposed to conversations, news, entertainment, social media, and countless opinions. Some of these influences encourage growth, while others increase anxiety, negativity, and comparison. Ask yourself an important question. What am I feeding my mind every day? Just as healthy food strengthens the body, healthy information strengthens the mind. Spend more time reading books that inspire you, listening to meaningful conversations, learning new skills, and surrounding yourself with people who encourage your growth. Limit unnecessary negativity whenever possible. You cannot completely control what enters your life, but you can choose what receives your attention. Another essential ingredient of a meaningful life is gratitude. Stress naturally focuses your attention on what is missing. Gratitude reminds you of what is already present. Every evening, take a few moments to think about 3 things you appreciate. They do not need to be extraordinary. It could be a supportive friend, a delicious meal, good health, a peaceful walk, or simply another opportunity to begin again tomorrow. Over time, gratitude changes the way your brain observes the world. Instead of constantly searching for problems, it begins recognizing opportunities, blessings, and moments of joy that were always there. Purpose is another powerful source of inner peace. Many people spend years chasing success without ever asking why they are chasing it. They collect promotions, possessions, and achievements only to discover that accomplishment alone does not create fulfillment. Purpose gives direction to your efforts. It answers questions like, what kind of person do I want to become? What values do I want to live by? How do I want to contribute to the lives of others? When your actions align with your values, even difficult work begins to feel meaningful. Another way to design a calmer life is by simplifying it. Modern society often encourages more possessions, more commitments, more goals, more distractions. Yet peace is often found in less clutter, less comparison, less unnecessary worry, less obligation to impress others. Simplifying does not mean giving up your ambitions. It means removing what no longer serves your well-being so that you have more energy for what truly matters. Relationships deserve thoughtful attention as well. The people you spend the most time with shape your thoughts, habits, and emotional health. Choose relationships that encourage honesty, kindness, growth, and mutual respect. Spend quality time with family and friends. Express appreciation regularly. Listen more than you speak. Offer forgiveness when appropriate. Meaningful relationships are among life's greatest protections against stress. Equally important is protecting time for solitude. A calm life includes moments when you disconnect from noise and reconnect with yourself. These quiet moments allow you to reflect, pray, meditate, journal, or simply breathe without distraction. Many of life's best decisions are made not during busy schedules, but during peaceful moments of reflection. Remember that designing a meaningful life is not about creating a perfect life. Perfection does not exist. There will still be unexpected problems, difficult conversations, disappointing moments, and uncertain seasons. The difference is that your foundation becomes stronger. Instead of reacting to every challenge, you respond with wisdom. Instead of constantly chasing happiness, you create daily habits that naturally produce it. Think of your life as a garden. If left unattended, weeds grow naturally. Stress, negativity, resentment, and unhealthy habits spread without effort. But with regular care, patience, and attention, flowers begin to bloom. Kindness, gratitude, purpose, balance, resilience, peace. Every healthy choice you make is another seed planted in that garden. Some seeds grow quickly, others require time, but every one of them contributes to the life you are creating. Remember that the quality of your life is rarely determined by a single extraordinary decision. It is shaped by the ordinary choices you make every day. Design your environment carefully. Protect your mind. Nurture meaningful relationships. Live according to your values. Practice gratitude. Simplify where you can, and never stop growing. When you intentionally build a life centered on purpose instead of pressure, peace instead of perfection, and meaning instead of constant busyness, stress gradually loses its ability to control you. You become the architect of your own well-being, creating a life that is not only calmer but richer, more fulfilling, and deeply meaningful. Chapter 12. Your Lifelong Stress Management Blueprint. Every journey needs a destination, but the most meaningful journeys also need a map. Over the course of this audiobook, you have explored what stress is, identified your triggers, rewired your mindset, mastered your emotions, practiced relaxation, built healthy habits, let go of what you cannot control, created boundaries, strengthened resilience, found balance, and learned how to design a calmer, more meaningful life. Now the final step is bringing everything together into one lifelong blueprint you can return to again and again. Stress management is not a one-time achievement. It is an ongoing practice. Too often, people think they can listen to advice once, feel inspired for a few days, and then return to life unchanged. But real transformation does not happen through inspiration alone. It happens when knowledge becomes habit, and habit becomes identity. Think of stress management like maintaining a garden. You do not plant seeds once and walk away forever. You water the soil, remove weeds, give the plants sunlight, and adjust to changing seasons. Some days require more care than others. The same is true for your mind and body. Some seasons of life will be easier, and others will demand more attention. A lifelong blueprint helps you respond wisely in every season. The first part of your blueprint is awareness. You cannot manage what you refuse to notice. Stay aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your physical tension, and your daily habits. When stress begins to rise, ask yourself simple questions. What changed? What am I feeling? What am I telling myself? What do I need right now? Awareness gives you the power to respond before stress grows into overwhelm. The second part is self-regulation. This is your ability to calm your body and steady your mind when pressure appears. Use the tools you have learned: deep breathing, mindfulness, meditation, movement, rest, and healthy routines. Do not wait until you are completely drained before using them. The earlier you respond, the more effective they become. A few minutes of calm can prevent hours of emotional exhaustion. The third part is perspective. Life will always contain problems, but not every problem deserves the same amount of emotional energy. Some challenges require action, others require patience. Some require acceptance. When stress appears, step back and ask, will this matter 1 month from now? 1 year from now? This simple habit helps separate temporary discomfort from truly serious issues. Perspective prevents small problems from becoming giant burdens. The fourth part is discipline. Discipline is what keeps you grounded when motivation disappears. Motivation can begin the journey, but discipline sustains it. Make sleep, movement, healthy food, and quiet reflection part of your regular life. Protect your mornings, protect your evenings, protect your focus. Small disciplined actions, repeated consistently, create a life that is more stable and less vulnerable to stress. The fifth part is flexibility. A strong blueprint is not rigid. It adapts when life changes. If your routine stops working, adjust it. If your responsibilities grow, simplify what you can. If a method no longer serves you, replace it with one that does. Flexibility is not failure, it is wisdom. The most resilient people are not the ones who never bend. They are the ones who know how to adapt without losing their center. The sixth part is connection. You were never meant to carry every burden alone. Healthy relationships are one of the greatest protections against chronic stress. Stay connected to people who support, encourage, and challenge you in positive ways. Speak honestly when you are struggling. Ask for help when you need it. Offer support when others are hurting. Meaningful connection reminds you that you are not isolated in your journey. The seventh part is purpose. A life without purpose becomes easily overwhelmed by pressure. A life with purpose has direction. Purpose does not remove difficulty, but it gives difficulty meaning. When you know what matters to you, you can endure hard seasons without losing your sense of self. Purpose transforms stress from a meaningless burden into part of a larger story of growth, service, and becoming. The eighth part is self-compassion. You will not manage stress perfectly every day, and that is okay. Some days you will react too quickly. Some days you will forget your routines. Some days you will feel tired, discouraged, or impatient. Do not punish yourself for being human. Self-compassion allows you to recover without shame. It helps you begin again with patience instead of guilt. That is the real secret of a lifelong blueprint. You do not need to be perfect, only consistent. Imagine a person who used to live in constant overwhelm. They could not sleep well, could not focus clearly, and felt trapped by every demand. Over time, they began applying the principles in this audiobook. They learned to recognize triggers, calm their breathing, protect their boundaries, stop chasing control, and build healthier habits. Their life did not become free of problems, but their response to problems changed completely. They became calmer, stronger, more focused, more balanced, more confident. That transformation is possible for you too. The goal is not to create a life with no stress. That life does not exist. The goal is to create a life where stress no longer rules your decisions, drains your peace, or defines your identity. You may still face deadlines, disappointments, uncertainty, and pressure, but now you have tools, you have awareness, you have resilience, you have a blueprint. When life feels heavy, return to the basics. Breathe, pause, reflect, adjust, protect your boundaries, strengthen your habits, lean on support, reconnect with your purpose, trust the process. Every time you do, you reinforce the truth that you are not helpless in the face of stress. You are capable of meeting it with wisdom, courage, and calm. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a lifelong practice. Some days will test you, others will reward you, but all of them can shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more peaceful than before. Carry this blueprint with you. Revisit it often. Let it guide your choices, steady your emotions, and remind you of what matters most. A calmer life is not built in a single moment. It is built one decision, one habit, and one peaceful response at a time. And from this day forward, that life is within your reach. Congratulations. By reaching the end of this audiobook, you've already taken an important step toward transforming your relationship with stress. More importantly, you've discovered that stress is not your identity, nor is it a life sentence. It is simply a signal, one that can guide you toward greater awareness, healthier habits, and a more meaningful way of living. Throughout this journey, you've learned that resilience is built through small daily choices. Every deep breath, every healthy boundary, every positive thought, every moment of gratitude, and every decision to let go of what you cannot control becomes another step toward lasting peace. These actions may seem small on their own, but together they create extraordinary change over time. Remember, there will still be difficult days. Unexpected challenges will arise, plans may change, and life will continue to test your patience. But now you have something far more valuable than the promise of a stress-free life. You have the knowledge and tools to face life's challenges with confidence, clarity, and calm. As you move forward, don't strive for perfection, strive for progress. If you stumble, begin again. If stress returns, revisit these principles and trust the process. Growth is not measured by never feeling overwhelmed. It is measured by how quickly you regain your balance and continue moving forward. Thank you for allowing this audiobook to be part of your journey. May you carry these lessons into every area of your life, protect your peace with intention, and inspire others through your example. Your future is not defined by the amount of stress you face. It is defined by the strength, wisdom, and resilience you choose to build each day. The journey continues, and your best, calmest, and most fulfilling life begins now.